The cafe was quiet except for soft jazz and rain tapping against the windows. A woman sat alone at a corner table, reading, occasionally glancing toward the door. The seat across from her remained empty. Then the door burst open. Three little girls in matching purple jackets rushed inside, their voices cutting through the hushed atmosphere. They stopped at the woman's table, three pairs of identical eyes studying her with curiosity. The oldest stepped forward, her small face serious. "My daddy's sorry he's late," she announced. "There was a family emergency." The woman looked up, surprise flickering across her face, then warmth. She smiled. But what she didn't know was that their father sat outside in his car, gripping the steering wheel with white knuckles, trying to find the courage to walk through that door. He hadn't been on a date in 3 years, not since the morning his wife collapsed in their kitchen and never got back up.
Tonight was supposed to be simple. Coffee, 1 hour, a chance to prove he was trying to move forward. Instead, it became the night everything changed. This is a story about a man drowning in grief who forgot how to swim, about 3 5-year-old girls who carried more wisdom than they should, and about a blind date that went completely wrong and somehow became exactly right. 20 minutes earlier, Ryan Mitchell sat in his Honda Civic outside Café Lumière, watching rain blur the streetlights into golden smears. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles had gone white. He was 20 minutes early for a blind date he'd been dreading for weeks. His younger sister Amanda had set the whole thing up. "You can't keep living like this, Ryan. It's been 3 years. The girls need to see you smile again." He'd protested, given every excuse. Too busy with work. The girls needed stability. He wasn't ready. But Amanda had worn him down. "Just one date. Her name is Rachel. She's a kindergarten teacher. Just coffee, 1 hour." Now, Ryan checked his reflection in the rearview mirror. At 34, he looked exhausted. Lines had deepened around his eyes from sleepless nights and endless worry. His navy sweater, the one the girls insisted made his eyes brighter, felt too tight. The truth was, he hadn't been on a date since Claire, his wife, his everything. The woman who died suddenly 3 years ago from a pulmonary embolism no one saw coming. One moment laughing at breakfast, helping their triplet daughters stack blocks. The next moment, gone. Ryan had been at work reviewing architectural plans when he got the call. By the time he reached the hospital, it was too late. The doctors explained about blood clots, how it happens without warning, how there was nothing anyone could have done. But Ryan had spent 3 years thinking about everything that could have been done differently. The guilt was constant. It whispered when he burned the girls' breakfast, forgot library books, couldn't braid Harper's hair the way Claire used to. It screamed on hard days when he felt like he was failing at everything. Now he had 3 5-year-old daughters, Harper, Violet, and Autumn, who barely remembered their mother. They knew her from photographs, from stories Ryan told every night, from videos he couldn't delete. But they didn't remember her voice, didn't remember how she smelled like lavender, how she hummed while cooking. His phone buzzed. Amanda's name flashed across the screen. His stomach dropped. "Mandy? What's wrong?" "The girls are fine." His sister's voice was rushed, hospital sounds in the background. "But it's Mom. She fell at her apartment, broke her hip. I'm at Portland General with her now. I had to bring the girls. There was no one else. Ryan, they're getting restless, scared. I think you should cancel and come get them." Ryan closed his eyes. Of course. The universe seemed determined to keep him exactly where he was, alone, surviving, never moving forward. "I'll be right there." "No," Amanda's voice turned firm. "The girls want to talk to you." Fumbling sounds, then 3 familiar voices tumbling over each other. "Daddy! Daddy, Grandma fell! Daddy, this place is scary!" Ryan's chest tightened with overwhelming love. "Hey, sweet girls. Is Grandma okay?" "The doctors are helping her," Harper reported seriously, "but Aunt Mandy says we have to leave." "We're not sick, Daddy," Violet added quietly. "We're very healthy," Autumn announced proudly. Amanda came back on. "Here's what I'm thinking. The hospital is 10 minutes from that cafe. Let me bring the girls to you, introduce them to Rachel. If she's understanding, it might be sweet. If not, you know she's not right anyway. Mom's going to be in surgery prep for a while. I should stay with her." "Mandy, I can't crash a first date with 3 kindergartners." "It's honest," Amanda countered. If this woman is worth anything, she'll understand. She's a kindergarten teacher. And the girls had been so excited. They picked out, "Your sweater, remember?" Ryan did remember. 3 tiny fashion consultants debating colors until they unanimously chose navy blue. This is insane. Most of parenting is insane. I'll be there in 8 minutes. Go inside, explain, and see what happens. The line went dead. Ryan sat for 30 seconds, considering. He could cancel, drive to the hospital, go home, return to their safe, predictable routine. Or he could walk through that door and face whatever came next. Claire's voice whispered in his memory, "Be brave, Ryan. Live your life." He chose the cafe. Warmth hit him immediately. Roasted coffee, cinnamon, soft jazz, gentle rain against windows. A handful of people sat at scattered tables, lost in books or conversation. Ryan spotted her instantly. Rachel sat at a corner table reading, dark hair pulled back, wearing a cream cardigan. Amanda's photo hadn't captured her warmth. "Rachel?" She looked up, face breaking into a warm smile. "Ryan, hi!" They hugged awkwardly, briefly. She smelled like something floral. "I'm so glad you made it," she said as they sat. "Your sister talks about you constantly." About that, the words tumbled out. His mother's fall, the broken hip, the hospital, Amanda bringing the girls, how sorry he was. "I understand if you want to reschedule or leave. This isn't what you signed up for." Rachel held up a hand, stopping him. "Ryan, breathe. Family emergencies happen. Is your mom going to be all right?" "They think so, but I have 3 5-year-old daughters walking through that door in 5 minutes, and this is absolutely not." Rachel laughed genuinely. "Ryan, I'm a kindergarten teacher. I spend every day with 5-year-olds. I've wiped noses, tied shoes, mediated crayon disputes. Though I've never had triplets, this might be more interesting than polite conversation where we pretend we like the same movies." Ryan stared, searching for signs she was just being polite. "You're serious?" "Completely. You learn more about a person watching them with their kids than over coffee." She smiled softly. "And Amanda told me about your wife. I think you're incredibly brave to be here." Before Ryan could respond, the cafe door burst open with jingling bells. "Daddy!" 3 voices rang out in unison. Amanda followed, looking harried but amused, giving Ryan a thumbs up before quickly exiting. "Text you updates about Mom. Girls, be good." And there they were, Harper, Violet, and Autumn, standing before a stranger at a cafe they'd never been to. Harper stood protectively in front. Violet gripped her hand shyly. Autumn bounced excitedly. "My daddy's sorry he's late," Harper announced diplomatically. "There was a family emergency with our grandma. She fell and hurt herself. Aunt Mandy said we should come here instead of the hospital because hospitals are scary." "But we're here now," Violet added, gaining confidence. Autumn tilted her head. "Are you Daddy's friend? Do you like coffee? I don't like coffee yet because I'm only 5. Rachel's smile was genuine and warm. She crouched to eye level. "I hope to be your daddy's friend. My name is Rachel. What are your names?" They introduced themselves one by one. Harper with a serious handshake, Violet with a shy wave, Autumn enthusiastically explaining they were all named after seasons. Rachel flagged down a server. "Could we get 3 hot chocolates with marshmallows?" "Extra marshmallows," specified Harper. "And whipped cream?" Violet asked hopefully. "The works," Rachel confirmed. As they waited for drinks, the girls chatted with easy openness. They told Rachel about their kindergarten class, their teacher, Mrs. Anderson, the class guinea pig, Butterscotch. They shared their favorite books. Harper loved dragons. They're misunderstood. Violet preferred animal stories. Autumn loved fairy tales. "We're building a fairy garden in our backyard," Autumn explained enthusiastically. "Daddy helped us make houses from sticks. We planted purple and white flowers. We're hoping real fairies will move in." "I think fairies would be lucky," Rachel said warmly. "Mommy would have loved it," Violet said quietly. "She liked gardens." Ryan's throat tightened, watching Rachel carefully for discomfort. But Rachel just smiled gently. "Then I'm sure she's watching it grow with you." The hot chocolates arrived, topped with whipped cream towers and colorful marshmallows. Violet got whipped cream on her nose immediately, making everyone laugh. Harper explained proper hot chocolate technique. You have to let it cool or you burn your tongue and can't taste anything for days. Autumn took an immediate sip and burned her tongue anyway. "Every single time," Harper muttered, sounding exactly like Ryan. Rachel caught Ryan's eye across the table, and they shared a smile. the kind that passes between adults when children are being predictably themselves. Something shifted in Ryan's chest, something he hadn't felt in 3 years. Hope. Rachel told stories about her students, the boy who brought his pet lizard without permission, the girl who did everything backward, the butterfly project where one butterfly sat on Rachel's head for an hour. The girls were enchanted, giggling and begging for more stories. "Do you have kids?" Autumn asked. "I don't," Rachel said, "but I have a classroom full. That makes me lucky." "Why don't you have kids?" Violet asked innocently. "Violet," Ryan said quickly, "that's personal." "It's okay," Rachel said gently. "I haven't met the right person yet, but maybe someday." "You should have kids," Autumn declared. "You'd be really good at it. You didn't even get mad when I spilled hot chocolate just now." Rachel laughed, helping clean up. "It's just hot chocolate, unlike glitter. Never trust a 5-year-old with glitter." The girls dissolved into giggles, and Ryan found himself laughing too, really laughing, from somewhere deep that had felt frozen for years. They stayed for 2 hours. The girls performed their Days of the Week song with hand motions and off-key harmonizing. Rachel taught them a clapping game. Harper explained the complex plot of her current dragon book. Violet leaned against Ryan's arm, hot chocolate mustache on her face. "I like Miss Rachel, Daddy. She's nice." "She is nice," Ryan agreed, voice rough. Across the table, Rachel smiled, and for the first time in 3 years, Ryan didn't feel the crushing weight of grief on his chest. He felt alive. If this story is touching your heart, I'd love if you'd subscribe for more stories about hope, healing, and second chances. The cafe was emptying. The jazz had slowed. Rain had softened to mist. The girls were getting sleepy. Autumn fighting to keep her eyes open, Violet curled in her chair, even Harper yawning. Rachel looked at them with tenderness. "They're beautiful, and they're lucky to have you." The words hit harder than they should. Lucky. The girls were lucky to have him, the father who burned breakfast, forgot picture day, couldn't braid hair, who'd sometimes locked himself in the bathroom to cry. "I don't feel lucky," Ryan said before he could stop himself. "I feel like I'm failing them every day." Rachel's expression gentled. "Why do you think that?" The words poured out, the guilt sitting on his chest like a stone, the fear that he wasn't enough, would never be enough, the way he sometimes couldn't remember Claire's voice. What kind of husband forgets? The way the girls were growing up without a mother, the way he felt like he was just surviving, never living. "Some days I can barely keep my head above water," he said, voice cracking. "Some days I forget lunches, I'm late for pickup, I lose my temper over spilled milk. They deserve better than this, better than a father who's drowning." The girls had gone quiet, sensing the shift. Harper watched with 2 old eyes. Rachel was quiet. Then she spoke, gentle but firm. "My dad died when I was 7. Heart attack. 1 minute reading me a bedtime story, the next minute gone." Ryan looked up, surprised. "My mom raised 3 kids alone, worked 2 jobs. We ate cereal for dinner, wore hand-me-downs. She forgot things too, school events, permission slips, my brother's birthday once because she was so exhausted she lost track of days." She paused. "For years, I thought my mom was just surviving, just broken. Then I realized something. She wasn't surviving. She was choosing to live. Every single day, she chose to get up, keep going, love us as hard as she could, even when she was drowning too. That choice, that daily, deliberate choice to keep living, keep loving, that's the bravest thing a person can do." Ryan felt tears burning. They came anyway, silent and hot. "Grief doesn't have a timeline," Rachel said softly, "but neither does healing. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean you loved her less. It means you're choosing to keep living. For them, for yourself." She reached across the table, not quite touching his hand. "You're not failing, Ryan. You're showing up, every single day. That's not failing, that's love." Harper spoke up suddenly. "Daddy, are you crying?" Ryan wiped his eyes, tried to smile. "I'm okay, sweetheart." Violet was fully awake now, looking worried. "Daddy needs a friend. We worry about him sometimes. He's sad a lot." "Mommy would want you to be happy, Daddy," Autumn said with absolute certainty. She told me in a dream. She said she wants you to smile again. Real smiles, not pretend ones. Ryan's breath caught. The tears he'd held back for years came now, shoulders shaking, and Harper's small hand touched his arm. "It's okay to cry, Daddy. You tell us that all the time." When Ryan looked up, Rachel's eyes were glistening too. "Your daughters are very wise," she said, voice thick, "and very loved. That's everything." "Have you ever been afraid to heal because it felt like betrayal?" They left eventually, the girls half asleep and stumbling as Ryan helped them into purple jackets. The rain had stopped, leaving the air clean and fresh, stars appearing through breaking clouds. Rachel walked them to Ryan's car, holding an umbrella even though the rain had stopped. Her presence felt steady, like she belonged. Ryan loaded the girls into car seats one by one. Violet was asleep before he buckled her. Autumn mumbled about fairies. Harper whispered, "I like her, Daddy," before her eyes closed. Ryan stood by the driver's door, keys in hand, and turned to Rachel. "I'm sorry this wasn't the date you expected," he said, voice rough. Rachel's smile widened. "It was better. I saw who you really are." "And who is that?" "Someone worth knowing. Someone who loves his daughters more than anything. Someone brave enough to keep trying. Someone who's healing, even if he doesn't see it yet." They stood in the parking lot, city quiet around them, warm cafe lights spilling onto wet pavement. "Would you want to do this again?" Ryan asked, clearing his throat. "Maybe without the emergency?" Rachel laughed. "The chaos was charming, but yes. Actually, my school's having a fall festival next weekend. Pumpkin patch, face painting, costume parade. The girls would love it. Would you want to come? All of you?" Ryan felt something unfurl in his chest, hope mixed with terror, mixed with tiny joy. "Really? Really? Unless you're afraid of face paint. Kindergartners take it very seriously. I think we can handle it." They exchanged numbers. Rachel squeezed his hand briefly. "Thank you for tonight, for staying, for letting me see you. Thank you for not running when 3 kids crashed our date." "Best date I've been on in years," Rachel said, and he believed her. Ryan drove through rain-washed streets, city lights reflecting off wet pavement in ribbons of gold. The girls slept in the back seat, breathing soft and rhythmic. Amanda called through the car speakers. "How's Mom?" "Surgery went well. Pins and a plate. She'll be fine. Already complaining about hospital food." Ryan smiled. "So," Amanda grinned through her voice, "how'd it go?" Ryan thought about the evening. Rachel crouching to meet his daughters. Her genuine laughter. Her patient questions, the conversation that cracked something open inside him. "It was complicated," he said finally, "and perfect and terrifying." Amanda laughed warmly. "That's how you know it matters." "I'm scared, Mandy. What if I mess this up? What if I'm not ready?" "Ryan," Amanda interrupted gently, "what if it's wonderful? What if this is exactly what's supposed to happen? What if Claire would want this?" Ryan's eyes burned. "How do you know what Claire would want?" "Because I knew her, and she loved you more than anything. She'd never want you to stop living. She'd want you happy. She'd want the girls to see you smile. She'd want you to have love again, not because you didn't love her enough, but because you loved her so much that you know how important it is." Ryan pulled into his driveway, porch light glowing warm. "I texted her, Rachel. We're going to her school's fall festival next weekend." Amanda squealed. "Ryan, that's amazing!" "Don't get ahead of yourself. It's just a festival. Just trying. Trying is everything," Amanda said softly. "I'm proud of you." After hanging up, Ryan carried each sleeping girl inside one by one. Harper mumbling about dragons, Violet curling like a baby bird, Autumn whispering, "Did you have a good time, Daddy?" "Yes, sweetheart, I think I did." He tucked them into beds, Harper under her dragon poster, Violet surrounded by stuffed animals, Autumn under fairy lights. He kissed each forehead, pulled each blanket, whispered, "I love you," to each sleeping face. In his bedroom, he picked up the framed photo from his dresser, Claire, laughing, holding 3 tiny babies, face radiant with exhausted joy. Ryan sat on the bed, holding the photo. "I met someone tonight," he said quietly. "Her name is Rachel. She's kind, patient with the girls. She made me laugh, and I felt something, Claire. Something I haven't felt since you left." His voice cracked. "I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if this is okay or if I'm betraying you, but the girls like her, and I think maybe you'd like her too. She reminds me of you, the way she listens, sees people. He set the photo back, hand lingering. I miss you, every day, but I think I'm ready to try, to live again, not just survive. Is that okay? The house was silent, except for the heater and distant rain. But in that silence, Ryan felt something shift. Not Claire's presence, he'd stopped believing in signs, but something inside himself, a loosening, permission he could only give himself.
He texted Rachel. Made it home safe, all three asleep before we left the parking lot. Thank you for tonight, for staying, for everything. He added, the girls are already talking about face painting. Fair warning, Autumn will probably want to be a dragon. 3 dots appeared. Then, dragons are very popular. I'm fully prepared. And Ryan, tonight was special. I'm really glad your sister set this up. Sleep well. Ryan smiled, typing, me too. Good night, Rachel. For the first time in 3 years, he didn't lie awake replaying mistakes, missed signs, moments he couldn't change. He thought about Rachel's laugh, the way she crouched to meet his daughter's eyes, the possibility of next weekend, learning to live again. He thought about Harper saying, Mommy would want you to be happy. Violet saying, Daddy needs a friend. Autumn declaring, she told me in a dream. Rachel saying, healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to keep living. Ryan closed his eyes, and for the first time and longer than he could remember, he felt peace.
The fall festival was everything Rachel promised. The school playground transformed into autumn wonderland. Hay bales, pumpkins, costume parade, face painting, apple cider, and cinnamon donuts. The girls had been buzzing all morning, changing outfits 3 times before settling on Harper as a knight, Violet as a butterfly, Autumn as a dragon. Rachel met them at the entrance wearing jeans and a jack-o'-lantern sweater, face lighting up. The Dragon Knight Butterfly crew, you look amazing. I'm a fierce dragon, Autumn announced, showing green wings. I breathe fire and protect treasure. We need more fierce dragons, Rachel said seriously. They spent the afternoon at stations, face painting, Autumn with scales, Violet with butterfly wings, Harper with shield and sword, picking pumpkins, debating which were best, hay maze, tiny train rides, decorating cookies that were more frosting than cookie. Rachel introduced them to students and families, moving through the crowds with easy warmth, remembering every child's name. Kids adored her. Parents respected her. While the girls bobbed for apples with other kids, Ryan and Rachel stood near the cider stand, watching. They're amazing, Rachel said. Your daughters. You've done an incredible job. Just trying not to mess them up too badly, Ryan said, smiling. That's impossible. They're loved. That's what matters. Everything else you figure out as you go. Autumn nearly fell into the apple barrel. Harper pulled her back. Violet laughed so hard she snorted. Can I ask something? Ryan said. Why did you say yes? Amanda must have told you about Claire, the girls, all my baggage. Why agree to that? Rachel considered. My best friend lost her husband 2 years ago. Cancer. 2 kids. I watched her learn to live again while raising kids who needed her okay even when she wasn't. Hardest thing I've witnessed, and the bravest. She looked at Ryan. When Amanda told me about you, I didn't see baggage. I saw someone who understood life is fragile, someone who knew how to love deeply, someone who showed up every day even when hard. That's not baggage, that's character. I'm still figuring out how to do this. Honor Claire's memory while moving forward. How to let someone new in without betraying her. I don't have all answers, Rachel said gently, but love doesn't have a limit. The heart doesn't run out of room. Loving someone new doesn't diminish what you had. It means you're brave enough to love again. Autumn ran over, dripping wet, dragon costume soaked. Miss Rachel, Daddy, I got 3 apples. You practically climbed in the barrel, Harper said, appearing with a towel. There were no rules about bodies, Autumn protested. As sun set, casting golden light, they sat on a hay bale eating caramel apples. The girls chattered about favorite parts, already planning next year. Can Miss Rachel come next year? Violet asked, hopefully. If she wants to, Ryan said, glancing at Rachel. I'd love to, Rachel smiled. Good, you're our friend now, right, Daddy? Ryan looked at Rachel, Sunset in her hair, warmth in her eyes, the easy way she sat like she belonged. Right, she's our friend. But in his chest something whispered that maybe, someday, she could be more. Maybe if he was brave enough, if he kept choosing to live instead of survive, if he honored Claire's memory by building a life full of love instead of just grief. Maybe. That night, after the girls were finally in bed, Ryan sat on the back porch looking at the fairy garden. Tiny stick houses surrounded by purple and white flowers, solar lights casting soft glow, making it look magical. His phone buzzed. Rachel, thank you for today. Your girls are incredible. You're incredible. I hope we can do this again soon. Ryan smiled. Thank you for including us, for being patient with this messy situation, for not running. Her response came quickly. I'm not going anywhere, unless you want me to. I don't, Ryan typed immediately. I really don't. Good. Because I'd like to keep getting to know you, all of you, if that's okay. It's more than okay. He sat on the porch, phone in hand, thinking about how strange life was. 3 years ago, his world ended. He'd been convinced he'd never feel anything but grief again, certain he was failing his daughters, failing Claire's memory, failing everything. But tonight, in fairy light glow, texting a woman who'd walked into his chaos and stayed, Ryan realized something. Healing didn't mean forgetting, didn't mean Claire mattered less. It meant learning to carry it differently, choosing every day to keep living, loving, opening his heart even when terrifying. It meant showing his daughters that grief and joy could coexist, that you could honor someone's memory while building new memories, that love didn't run out, it multiplied, expanded, grew. It meant being brave enough to try. Amanda was right. The girls were right. Even Claire, in memories, was right. Life was meant to be lived, not just survived. If this story reminded you that it's never too late to heal, to hope, to love again, I'd be so grateful if you'd like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it. If you want more stories about the courage it takes to keep living, loving, trying even when it's hard, please subscribe.